Hello and welcome to the Life and Love podcast, a conversation designed to help you have healthy relationships, become the person you truly want to be, and overall get the most out of life.
We're your hosts, Dominic and Emily Whitfield. Thank you so much for joining, and stay tuned as we learn and grow together. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Life and Love podcast. We're really excited that you've tuned in today. Our apologies for last week. We actually didn't upload an episode last week. It was actually an interesting scenario. So I crashed my car a few weeks ago, and I had to drive all the way out to Michigan to pick up a new hood. So that was what I was doing on our day off. We didn't get a chance to record. But we're coming to you today with some really exciting news.
Guys, we have merch!
Yeah, we got our little sweatshirts in. So the Life and Love merch is on the way. We got some samples, and we have a few more options coming as well. Hopefully they'll be in the next week or two, but we're really excited about it. So we're going to launch our pre-orders very soon, so make sure you stay tuned.
And it's like nice. It's good quality.
I know. I'm so cozy.
I've been wearing mine everywhere, and I would wear it. I mean, I would wear it every day if I could, but having kids, it's like you don't get the chance to wear clothes more than one time.
Because you're dirty.
Yeah. I'm not dirty. The kids are dirty. You saw me. I literally had oatmeal all down the sleeve of my sweater the other day.
That's disgusting. Anyways.
Just saying.
They're super nice. Get your sweatshirt, and we got some hoodies coming available soon as well. So today's going to be fun. Why don't you talk to them.
We're going to talk about joy. We're going to talk about how joy is not found in relationships, people, even your children.
Yeah.
There's, multiple ways of obtaining joy, but that's not necessarily what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about just how...
the ultimate source of joy.
Yes, which is...
Jesus.
All
right, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, that's it.
No, this is going to be a really cool conversation, and it's fun. Fun's probably the wrong word, but it's interesting on the heels of just some events that have gone on in our life recently, like some big ones and even small ones. It just is like the Lord confirming with us that we need to be really, really stern and really diligent about where we find our happiness and joy. Mm-hmm. We live in a day and age with social media. Like, obviously you're listening to this on a podcast or watching it on YouTube, and you might see a clip from, Instagram or Facebook, but we live in this world where you're connected with every human being on this planet. Mm-hmm. Like, that's crazy to think about. Mm-hmm. And you have so much influence coming in your life, and you have so much judgment, like so many eyes on you at all times. It's interesting because we can live our lives for people, to please people, to make people happy, all in attempts to find the satisfaction we're looking for from their approval, right? From their hey, you did a great job, or that was an amazing picture, or that was a really cool video, or whatever the case is. Oftentimes we get caught in this trap where we're looking for happiness in other people.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
And other people's approval of you, and because that affects more than just joy. Mm-hmm. That affects self-esteem, confidence, and I don't know, just everything.
Yeah, it's dangerous to allow people to rule your life like that. You're letting them in. My grandfather, he'd been a pastor for over 40 years, and I remember this one message he preached, and it really stuck with me to this day because this simple sentence is so powerful. But he said that people, if you don't find your joy in people, then they can't take it away.
Yeah.
Right? That's so amazing. The truth is that we should be finding our satisfaction, our happiness, our joy, our peace in the Lord. And when we put those things and we attempt to find those things in God, then people can't take them away because people didn't give it to us.
Right.
God gave it to us.
Right.
So they can't take away
That's so good.
Yeah, they can't take away what they haven't given us. I just always remembered that, and it just really stuck with me because, we stress and we worry and we're anxious over like what people say, what they've done, what, you know, the bad things that they've said about us. They might drag our name through the mud, which we had happen recently, which is pretty interesting. And you get this feeling of like, oh, I got to defend myself, or I got to, you know, like you just get in your feels a little bit.
When people like test your character, that's like, it's hurtful, and it's like something that like I have a hard time with, because if you know me, like, I'm not a mean person.
You're
like
perfect.
but I can get along with everybody. I'm a people pleaser, and sometimes that gets the best of me. But I can be friends with anybody. And so when I've had my character, you know, challenged a few times, it's like, what?
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And like for me, I feel like as, you know, her husband, I need to like, let's go beat people up, right? Like I need to defend my wife. But like we just ultimately sat down and kind of realized like, listen, we don't find our happiness in other people, so we're not going to allow other people to take it away from us. You know, we find our joy and satisfaction in God.
That's so much easier said than done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's been days of just like even the thought of this situation like tearing me apart. And it's like, it's hard to take control over and like to declare over yourself, no, like this is not where your joy comes from. This is not like, this should not be controlling you. Yeah. Like get a hold of yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Basically. But
so what do you do in those times where you're like struggling with that?
I try to forget about it.
Yeah.
I'd like try to make myself busy and forget about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think that's really helping anything, because then it comes back up again. You know, but I think ultimately what you have to do is give it to the Lord, and that's what I'm really trying to do. Is just be like, Lord, you know what? I give this to you. Like this feeling, this situation, I just give it to you because you're higher than me.
Yeah.
And I think also too for me, what's helped a lot is zooming out, which is what we've talked about recently.
Yeah. Check out that conversation if you haven't.
Go back to that podcast, Zoom Out.
So
because I'm so zoomed in on this that I'm forgetting about the people I do that I do have surrounding me.
Yeah. And
the people that do lift me up, and the people that do encourage me and pour into my life and my family that really care about me and love me. And you forget about it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, zoom out. I'm like, gosh, my life is so good. The people that God has placed around my family are so good.
Yeah.
And
that's really good.
That has helped me more than anything.
Yeah. I think that's really good, and I think we should actually like kind of pause and talk about that for a second, because like when you allow like here's what I've learned, and this is so tricky, like especially when you're in ministry and like your job is to like lead people, you get caught up in this trap of like looking for approval in the people that you're leading, and like, oh, am I leading you the way you want to be led? And the truth is like I'm not called to please people. I'm called to lead people to Jesus, to show them to show them who God is and help them along their journey of discovering who God is. And so a lot of times I might have to make unpopular decisions, and making unpopular decisions is just what you do as a leader, but you can't get in your feelings about it. And so like I love that you said that, because I think oftentimes when those things happen, we do get so fixed on that one negative experience, or, oh man, that person said that about me, or they question my character, or they, oppose me, or they don't like this, whatever. Like we get so focused on that, we forget that there's like dozens or hundreds of people surrounding us that are like cheering us on, that love us, that are supporting us. And it's not to say like I don't want to get back, because you're basically getting back into allowing people to feel your joy. And it's not necessarily that, but it's just not allowing one negative circumstance to define who you are, to define like
your day.
Your day or your character, your leadership. Like you have to take a step back and really look at everything,
Yeah, like
it's so
my life isn't that horrible.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think too, it's like I think just the Lord revealing, like. You didn't need them in the first place.
Right.
It's just kind of weeding out the people that are not good influences in your life, and maybe you shouldn't be hanging around. And this is very like people specific, but it could go for anything, like jobs or I can't think of anything else, but you get the point. But it affects everything. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Everything.
And I think so. You look at like, okay, you said it was easier said than done, which I agree with you. So how do you find your joy if you're not finding it in people? Like, where do you find it? Obviously, we kind of talked about that. We said we find it in the Lord. And I think, like, the key to that is actually looking for it in the Lord. You know, like, it can't be this thing where you just walk around and say, oh, my joy's in Jesus. Like,
right.
Jesus makes me happy. And then, like, just go about your day. Like, you actually have to find your joy in Jesus.
I think it's special because the Lord has given us so much, and I think He loves to give His children good gifts. So obviously the first thing I think about is seeing the Lord's joy in my children. Yeah. And then that bringing me joy. Living in this home that we probably shouldn't have gotten. Like, just everything, like, knowing how much the Lord has given us and blessed us with. I find joy in that and peace in that because I know He's, like, pleased. Right. And so I think finding Jesus in everything brings you joy.
Seeing Him work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like, it's so important, too, that you can't expect to have joy in the Lord if you're not actively pursuing Him. You know, like, if you're not spending time with Jesus, you're not going to be filled with that confidence, that joy. Like, when I was saying earlier, like, when you have to find it, like what Emily said, you have to look at and take a step back and look at your life and literally find the satisfaction of the Lord in your life, like the favor. You have to look for it. Like, man, if you're and I feel like we all struggle with this. So if you're struggling with not finding your satisfaction in people and instead in the Lord, like, tomorrow morning or even today when you're listening to this, take a moment and get away by yourself with God and just spend time with Him. Like, you don't have to, and this is I don't know, the Lord's been really amazing the last few weeks because it's like you don't have to do much with God. Like, just being with Him and allowing your Heavenly Father to reaffirm who you are just by His presence and knowing that, man, this person might be upset at me or they might, whatever, try to steal my joy, but, like, God is so happy with me and, like, we're in love and we have such an incredible relationship. Like, once you get to that point, nothing can really
bother you.
Yeah, or take that away. Yeah. And I think that just, you know, if you're struggling with this, you have to make it a priority to get closer to God. Like, you just have to. You have to spend time in worship, spend time in reading His Word, like, spend time with your Father and allow Him to build you up, like, allow Him to reaffirm you. Like, I remember even in ministry, obviously we're pastors, so a lot of this comes from, like, a ministry context. But in ministry, it's really easy to, like, minister for people instead of for God. Like, you know, you get just, you know, all the amazing people that go to our church that after you're done preaching or praying or doing whatever, or leading worship, they're like, that was so amazing, you're so awesome. And
you almost look for it.
Yeah, it feels good.
I caught myself doing that this Sunday.
Yeah.
Because we're reading the book called The Reset from Jeremy Riddle. It's so good.
So good.
But it's just talking about, like, it's not about you. Like, you die to yourself and just worship the Lord. Like, bring Him praise and honor. And I just felt like a rebuke, like, coming off the set and being like, because it was a really good set. Yeah, and it's like, it was
amazing. You guys
everyone's
did great.
like, oh my gosh, you guys did so good. Like, multiple people walking out, and I'm like, I needed that. Like, it was almost like I needed that. And then I thought, like, I don't need that, and I shouldn't be looking for that.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's easy to get caught in that trap of, like, oh, thank you. Like, I'm so happy that you think I did good. And what I've noticed is that, like, when you allow that, even, like, the affirmation of other people, and this is where, I feel like this is really where the problem begins, is when you allow people to affirm you, and like what you said, you look for it. You're, like, hungry for people's approval. Yeah. That's where it gets dangerous, because people are great when they're happy. Like, when they're happy with you and you're doing a great job, oh, you led worship, it was amazing. like, that's good. You can find your joy in people, but we all know that people are the worst.
They're the worst.
They're the worst. And they're not always going to be happy with you. And you're not always going to be great. You're not always going to have, a great worship set or preach a great message. And when you find your satisfaction in coming off the stage and, elder so-and-so is like, Emily, that was so amazing. Like, when you look for that, when it's not there, it's going to be devastating.
Devastating.
Yeah, it's going to be devastating. When they don't tell you good job or, hey, that was a great message, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm terrible.
Sucked.
Yeah, but it's only because you're finding your satisfaction in people.
Right.
Like,
right.
I remember one of the things my uncle, our senior pastor now at our church, Pastor Troy, said a long time ago when I was first starting to like preach and things like that. He said, every message, no matter if it was good or bad, after I preach it, I crumble it up and throw it away. And obviously not literally. He doesn't literally throw away his messages. But what he was referring to is like, I'm not going to sit back and try to weigh how I did based off of how people reacted. If people didn't react, that doesn't mean that I wasn't obedient to the Lord or I didn't do what the Lord was trying to say. Like, the Lord might be so happy with me and everybody else be mad at me.
Yeah.
Well, that's a win. Like, I did my job at that point, And so that always stuck with me. And I think that that's the attitude in life, in ministry, if you're in ministry, but like just in life in general, like your happiness comes from your obedience to the Lord. Like, are you doing what the Lord wants you to do? Is he pleased with you? Because if he's pleased with you, nothing else matters. No one else's opinions matter. Mm-hmm. When you are pleasing your Heavenly Father, it's like, man, I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you say about me. Like, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for him.
Yeah. But so that's good. Also, like, not giving you permission either to, like, be, I don't know, like, I don't need you.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
That's extreme.
Right.
I feel like people don't really get that way, but...
Yeah. If you do, you're one of the people that we refer to as the worst.
The worst.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, like, just kind of like thinking about joy and happiness, it, like Emily said earlier, it's easier said than done, but I think that ultimately, like, we have to get to a place where, like, this thing doesn't control our life. Like, this phone and social media and everything, like, all of the eyes and all of the, like, the ability for people to double tap and like and do this stuff, like, it's so easy to fall into that trap of living your life for other people, and it's just exhausting.
Yeah,
like,
and it's now more than ever before.
Yeah, it's so tiring.
Yeah.
So basically, we have to get to a point. If you need to shut this off for a little bit, shut it off. Like, get with God and allow yourself to find your happiness with him. Like, find your joy with him. And when you do that, no matter what anybody else does, they can't take it away. Like, I love what my grandpa said when he was preaching about this. He said, you can only add to my joy, you can't take it away. Mm-hmm. Like, if you think about, like, I should have brought a prop. I didn't know I was going to do this. I wish I had a cup of water. But if I had a big cup of water, right, like, it's already halfway full. Mm-hmm. Or if it's already like 3/4 full. If you're going to be in my life, you can only add to it. You can't take it away, Like, I'm not going to let you dump out my joy. Like, I have a fullness of joy being with the Lord. And if you're going to be in my life and you're going to bring me joy, that's incredible. Like, our children are so amazing. Like, I love just watching them grow and live life, and they add to my joy, Like, you add to my joy. There's so many amazing relationships and people that I have that add to my joy, but I can't let them take it away. I can't let them take away what the Lord has given me, And we even had, another situation even today where, like, our daughter, Riley, she's 3, she kind of experienced just some people just being a little bit rude. And I was thinking about it later, and it was fine. It was just all a misunderstanding. But, I'm planning on talking to her and telling her, listen, like, people can be mean, they can be rude, they can be hurtful, but you have to understand that you're not broken because people are mean. Like, you're not the problem because people are mean. And you have to get to a point, like, you're going to have to help me do this, because I don't know how exactly I want to present this to her, because I feel like if I do this the wrong way, she's going to be like a little tyrant running around, like, yelling at people. So basically, what I'm trying to do better at is create boundaries with people. I think a lot of times we entertain unhealthy behavior from people, and we allow people to be just toxic, and we just let them walk over us. And so, I'm trying to create more boundaries where if you're going to be rude to me, like, then we don't have a relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry, I don't allow people to talk to me that way. Right. Like, I don't allow people to treat me that way. Yeah, like, I have a boundary, and when you cross that boundary, like, there's consequences for it. So the consequence to speaking to me in, like, a rude way is that you don't get to speak to me. Like, I'm going to walk away, and until you can control yourself and figure out the appropriate way to talk to me, we don't have conversation.
Which is what we do in parenting.
Right. Which we do that with Riley. And so I'm going to try to arm her with this understanding as a 3-year-old, soon to be 4-year-old.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that she gets it. I hope she doesn't walk around and just tell people, like, you can't talk to me.
Don't talk to me
Don't
like
talk
that.
to me anymore. She's going to be, like, super mean to people. But
no,
I
don't think she'll fully understand it now,
won't.
But the little investments of just like, okay, this happened.
Yeah.
And let's acknowledge that this happened. But just know that, and just like speaking life
like, this
into
isn't
her
normal.
like that.
It's not
normal. Yeah. But just like continuing as she's growing into being a woman, she will know how to.
Yeah. And I think that's so healthy for all of us. Like, if we were to adopt some of those same principles, I feel like a lot of times we wouldn't even give people the chance to steal our joy, Yeah. Like, if people come at us and they, are feeling some type of way or talking some type of way, hey, I'm sorry, just let me interrupt you for 1 second. I don't allow people to talk to me like that. So if you want to continue this conversation, we can either change the tone of your voice, or change the words that you're using, or we can reconvene later and kind of chat later and talk about it. I know that's so hard to do.
Yeah, I'm like looking at him like,
it's so hard.
I don't think I can do that.
I know, but like, here's the truth: your peace and your sanity is more valuable than their like enraged emotions.
Agreed.
You have to see the value in yourself and protect what you have. I just don't think that you're doing yourself or them any favors by allowing people to manipulate you, to insult you, to be rude to you. Like, you're not helping them understand that you can't treat people that way. Like, so many people have grown up not knowing what the boundary is, what the limit is, and if you allow people to walk over you, you're just reinforcing that bad learned behavior that they have.
True. That's true.
Like, especially with children, obviously they have just like a chaotic nature, sinful nature to begin with, and they're just
learning how to not.
Yes, like we have to create boundaries and say, Riley, like we do this all the time. When Riley starts freaking out, I pick her up and I put her in a room and I say, Riley, I don't let people talk to me that way. So if you're going to talk to me or be in the common space of our home, you have to change your attitude. You have to change your talk. You have to change what you're saying and how you're yelling, right? And we do that with children. We have to be brave enough to do that with people and not allow people to abuse us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so much easier said than done.
Yeah.
I think in those moments I'm always just like caught off guard, like, what do I say?
You're just like frozen.
I've done that. I'm like, sorry, I don't know what to say right now.
Yeah.
I'm just, so caught off guard.
Yeah. For sure.
And then later you're like, why didn't I say anything?
Yeah, and then like when you're taking a shower, like laying in bed,
I could have said this, and this.
Like, I want to call them right now.
Yeah, you want
Don't you ever.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yes, because you want to like have people be accountable for what they're doing, because you want them to know, like, you can't treat people like that.
Yeah.
So.
And that's a part of what keeping those standards does, like.
It is, yeah.
It reinforces that fact that, like, this isn't cool.
Right.
Yeah. So finding your joy in the Lord will prevent anyone else from having the ability to take it. Like, they can't take what they don't have, what they didn't give to you, what they don't own. And so we need to stop placing those things in other people's hands. Like, and this is the craziest thing, right? As we wrap up this conversation, I can't even find my joy fully in you. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's true, because I'm sometimes not the greatest wife.
Right.
Shocker.
But that's not even the only reason. That's not even the only reason, because you are great. But like, if I try to find my joy, my satisfaction from you, it'll never
fully satisfied.
Yeah, it'll never be enough for what I need. And I feel like a lot of people like get so disappointed and so hurt because they're looking for what they think they should be able to find in people like their wife or their husband or like their parents or people that are really close to them. And it's like, man, I can't even find my full satisfaction in you. Like, no.
In a healthy marriage.
Yeah, in a healthy marriage. No. And the answer is no, because we were not created to find our joy and peace in other things, in people, in things, and whatever. Like, we were designed so that we would fall in love with Jesus and find our joy, our satisfaction in him. And when it's anything but Jesus, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
it's just always broken.
That could be anything.
Yeah. It can be money, it can be whatever. Like, it does not have to just be a person.
I was watching some kind of like
I got a weird thing in my throat.
There was someone, or was it Pastor Troy was talking about someone who's speaking on? Oh, it was
Dave Martin?
No, who was the guy? Tom Brady. I was like, I can't mess this up because he's so well known. And just won the Super Bowl.
Did he come to our church and
No. I'm just saying.
You made it sound like that.
No, sorry. I'm saying, I think Pastor Troy had mentioned that Tom Brady had said at one point, like, you know, and he had won, I think, 3 Super Bowls at this point, but he said, like, I've won 3 Super Bowls, but yet I feel like I have still not arrived, and there's, like, what else is out there for me, and, like, you think this would be, like, your big accomplishment. You should be fulfilled. But he was still saying, like, I still feel empty, and I'm not sure what else could fulfill that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Like, the pinnacle of life right there.
Yeah.
Still.
And then that was at 3 Super Bowls, and now he's won 7.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So.
It's crazy.
You still don't feel satisfied. It's because you don't have Jesus.
Yeah. He's the only thing that's going to be able to sustain that. He's the only thing that's going to. It's just the way that it's designed. He designed it that way. And when I put my wife first, when I try to, find my joy, my satisfaction in her first, I don't do her any favors. I don't do myself any favors. Like, it just always fails, always falls apart.
Yeah.
But when we individually find our joy and fulfillment in God, like, we're better because of it,
Yeah. Absolutely. We're better parents because of it. Better friends and a daughter and a son because of it. It's just like, it just all flows from that. Like, being fulfilled in Jesus Christ just flows out into your life, and it affects everyone around you. Yeah. So.
It's amazing. So, any final thoughts?
No. I think this was good for me, too. This is kind of like therapy, talking it out for me.
I feel like I needed this, too. We had a lot of weird situations go on the last few weeks, like the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
People are the worst.
People are the worst. But
it's okay.
It's okay, because we don't need people to be good.
I don't need you.
Yeah. Like, I don't need you to give me joy. Like, continue to be the worst, because I'm still going to be happy.
I'm still going to be happy. You're going to be mad because
still
I'm happy.
Because your mood doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
It doesn't get to define me. I'm not going to let it.
Yeah, for sure.
So good.
We hope this really helped you guys. Because we believe that Jesus is the answer for everything. Yeah. So that's like our main goal, is just to like help people do life with Jesus. And when you do life with Jesus, you're just more fulfilled. Yep. You have joy, you have peace, happiness, all the things.
All the things. Yeah. So get with Jesus, find your joy, find your satisfaction in him, and I promise you other people won't be able to take it away. And with that, we wrap up another great conversation. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.
As always, live right, love everyone, and pray hard.